Tonight, doctors from Kadina swoop in to secure the future of the Wallaroo Hospital. And coffee roasters on the Eyre Peninsula tasting the sweet success of local and national support.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Doctors from the Kadina Medical Associates will continue to service the Wallaroo Hospital. It follows staffing concerns at the facility after Moonta Medical withdrew its application. Rachel Nell has more.
Following months of discussions, the staffing crisis at Wallaroo Hospital has finally been resolved. Kadina Medical Associate doctors will trial splitting responsibilities at the hospital with Country Health SA medicos as of this month. It comes after Moonta Medical announced it would no longer service the hospital from February 1, as it was unable to meet the on-call expectations laid out by the hospital. Kadina Medical doctors will provide emergency on-call and inpatient services at the Wallaroo Hospital as part of a 3-month trial. But fears are now arising regarding overworked and tired doctors servicing the region after Country Health South Australia said there would be no changes to the service while a long-term strategy is explored. It says it's committed to a long-term sustainable workforce at the hospital and is working with the local clinic to ensure a sustainable country medical workforce. Country Health SA prefers to use local medicos, but if the demands cannot be met, an alternate strategy will be adopted to help reach a positive outcome for the community.
Rachel Nell reporting there. Whyalla is being touted as the perfect place to host part of a proposed virtual power plant. Local MP Eddie Hughes says our abundance of sunlight should count in our face and will push the town's case in Adelaide.
Launched to great fanfare yesterday, 50,000 SA homes are set to become a power station. In partnership with Tesla, an even split of housing trust and private homes will receive free solar batteries, connecting together to produce 250 megawatts of electricity. A local member for Giles says it's a big step forward for the state's energy supply.
On a hot day like this, a very sunny day, solar production of electricity is very significant.
He's backing Whyalla to play a major role. With an average 300 days of sunshine a year, he believes we're in a perfect position to tap into the resource.
Well, I'm going to make sure that we get a fair share here in Whyalla and elsewhere in the Cedar Giles.
With 25% of homes in the city housing trust dwellings, Mr Hughes says it's a perfect way to give lower income residents cheaper power bills.
We need to introduce some equity. The people on the lowest incomes are the ones that really need these systems, probably more than anybody else.
Expressions of interest are now open, with Mr Hughes encouraging people to take up the offer.
I've got solar on my roof and it saves me a lot of money, the cheapest form of electricity you can get.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Health professionals would be recruited and trained in regional SA under a $20 million plan proposed by the state Liberals. The pledge comes after the Streaky Bay community was forced to purchase its medical practice after losing the town's only full-time doctor.
People living in country towns say they're sick and tired of trying to find a doctor.
For too long we've struggled to attract health professionals, particularly doctors, but also nurses and specialists.
Regional towns have been hit hardest by the shortage, battling without any full-time health professionals.
For small country towns, the hospital and the doctor, the general practice, the health services are critical to the well-being, obviously, of the community.
Cal and Kimber on the EP went without a doctor for 2 years, while Streaky Bay recently purchased its medical practice after its long-serving GP retired.
In all 3 cases, local government have become involved in that, and the most recent is Streaky Bay, where the local government, the district council, have taken on the practice itself.
The state Liberals say enough is enough, pledging $20 million to recruit and train young health professionals to country practice.
It's not just about bricks and mortar, obviously, it's about the people who provide the services, the doctors, the nurses, the practitioners, etc. So this will go a long way towards attracting, recruiting, training and retaining.
There are currently 91,000 medical practitioners registered in Australia, but the struggle for regional towns is trying to lure enough away from capital cities.
Have health professionals, general practitioners, choose a country practice as their chosen career.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
A woman has been arrested after allegedly assaulting a taxi driver in Port Augusta. Police were called to Fullerton Crescent at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, where a taxi driver dropped off 4 women. One, a 33-year-old, assaulted the driver before walking away. He sustained minor injuries and followed the suspect before police arrested her in a nearby street. She was bailed to appear in court next month. After the break on Southern Cross News, another local puts their hand up for a tilt at state politics, and Whyala's planned billy cart race through the town forced to be postponed. Details next. The RAA has announced support for 12 projects across South Australia, all in a bid to boost community safety. Out of 100 applicants, the Stirling North CFS near Port Augusta was one of the big winners.
What looks like an empty block is an area vital to the Stirling North CFS Brigade.
So we generally start training around 6:30, and especially during the winter months we can be limited by the amount of light that we have.
Work on the station's training ground has been going on for almost 2 years, and now a $9,000 grant is set to improve things dramatically.
Work's been ongoing for 18 months, 2 years on various different projects, and this grant's actually able to just provide us with the completion of it essentially, with all the earthworks and the lighting. So
the RAA knows all too well the difficulties customers face in the wake of disaster, a reason why the local brigade was selected for the grant.
From our perspective, the RAA is very interested in anything that we can do around helping prevent any sort of tragedies or that during bushfire events.
Absolutely no expectations of receiving any of it. Looking through what had been granted previously, we're a little bit sceptical, but obviously we're over the moon about getting the full amount for the grant. So.
Other funded projects in the region include a $4,000 bushfire fighting trailer for the Yorke Peninsula and safety equipment for a school crossing in Kadina. A sprinkler system for Port Lincoln's Riding for the Disabled was also on the list. With the grant, the CFS is expecting to finish the training ground upgrades within the next 6 months.
We also use this the training area for basic firefighting trainings, which run over weekends and that kind of stuff. So it just helps give them a secure area to have to be able to train in as well, and be confident that they're going to be safe. So.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Yet another Port Augusta local is having a tilt for a seat in Parliament House. Labor upper house candidate Mahanbir Grewal says keeping young people in the regions will be the focus of his campaign.
Taking 5th place in the Labor Party's upper house ticket, Mahanbir Grewal is all about putting the region first.
All the region is growing at 6 to 7% a year. Our growth rate is maximum 3 to 4%. Now you can't fight that without having a strategy.
The mechanical engineer and family business owner has lived in Port Augusta for over 40 years. He says here there isn't enough youth.
The regions have been neglected. Not only a reason fault of the Labour Party, but also the regions. They have not been active in getting young people involved. And without young people involved, there's only one way you're going, down.
He believes a boost in government investment in sport and higher education in the regions could be the key.
But if you had a university or a technical college there, they'll study there, they'll work in the farm as well, and they'll stay there. So there are a lot of things we can do, but that's why I said I hope to go to the election and hope to get in the upper house.
Mr Grewal is the only candidate vying for a Legislative Council seat who is of Indian origin, which he believes could be an edge to his campaign.
Yeah, I think so, because you bring new ideas from your roots.
Like Liberal and SA Best candidates, their ideas he's hoping to bring to North Terrace.
Everything comes from the regions. So I think that's what I would like to promote, the regions. I'm standing up for the regions.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
A billy cart race planned for Whyala has been postponed until spring. Organisers say they need more time to prepare for the long-awaited event.
The Wyler Tourism Focus Group's bold plan to revive a billy cart race in the town was met with great fanfare when announced last year. It was to be run in conjunction with the Unearth Festival throughout the city plaza. But issues relating to insurance and classification have forced organisers to put the brakes on the concept.
We need to get the specifications correct. We need to get all the safety procedures correct. So I believe it's a good thing that it's been delayed.
While the focus group has received the green flag to run the race in November, it's thanked Council for its support over the last few months.
And all the people at Council have been very, very supportive on our tourism focus group, and particularly with this event.
Despite the 8-month delay, the group says it's fielded dozens of inquiries from people keen on entering. It says family members are teaming up to enter a cart, and there are hopes those interested participants will still come racing on the new date.
The number of hits we've had on our website and our Facebook site, people are very excited about it, children are very excited, father and sons, father and daughters are all getting together.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, dads-to-be asked to come forward for a new text message support service, plus a local coffee roaster on the Eyre Peninsula kicking goals across the region and the country. That's next. A pilot program will be trialled in the region in a bid to combat depression and anxiety among dads-to-be. The SMS for Dads SA program is looking for 300 expectant fathers to receive 14 text messages a month with information on their newborns and how to get help if they need it. SA Mental Health Commissioner says fathers don't get as much support in the regions.
Where they've researched it in other states, that about 90% of fathers say it truly helped them to build a relationship with their new child.
Dads-to-be need to be over 18 years old and can sign up for the program online. The Flying Doctor is celebrating a major milestone of saving lives across outback Australia. For 90 years, the RFDS has serviced the region, last year recording more than 5,000 flights.
What started out as a trial nearly a century ago has grown to become the largest aeromedical service in the world.
We saw the hardship that people were facing in the outback 90 plus years ago, and really the tyranny of distance, and people were suffering and dying in the outback without access to urgent medical care.
In 1928, the Royal Flying Doctor provided medical assistance to 255 patients. Today, the service airlifts one person almost every 2 minutes.
In locations such as Whyalla and Port Pirie and Port Lincoln, we're landing on average at least once a day.
It provides essential healthcare services to around 15 injured and critically ill South Australian patients each day. The most common call-outs: heart attacks, strokes and accidents.
Accidents in motor vehicles, on stations, from farm accidents through to accidents that happen within the home.
The 24/7 service eliminates the long journey to the nearest hospital by road ambulance.
In around 60 to 70 minutes than it would take to drive those 6 or 7 hours.
The Royal Flying Doctors service is hoping for another 90 years, but is relying on community support to keep on taking to the skies.
We continue 90 years later to rely on bequests and donations from the community.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Well, it seems coffee enthusiasts on the Eyre Peninsula are favouring local roasters for their morning brew. Eyre Roasted has achieved quick success across the region and around the country, selling its beans in all corners of Australia.
When Dave Hardigan began roasting beans from his bread maker at home, he had no idea where it would take him.
Yeah, hobby turned into a passion turned into a job.
Dave and partner Kat have been roasting beans on the EP since 2015, turning their hobby into a business.
Yeah, lots of reading, lots of research, and drawing on a lot of support from other local businesses as well. Their support's been amazing.
One of those supporting trades is the local beer garden, giving up a space next to their own brews.
A great workspace. This is really a sort of a local mecca of local produce, I think, so great.
Beans and beer.
Yeah,
it's good.
that's it.
It's great.
But it's the product that has businesses raving.
We've had air roasted in the cafe as our primary beans for over a year now, and the response has been phenomenal.
We do a little internal happy dance when we get that kind of feedback. It's what really keeps us going, and we feel like we're doing it right.
The beans are imported from all over the globe, but what makes it so good?
Well, I follow a recipe which I've developed to extract the flavours from the beans which I want.
Air roasted is now seeing demand from interstate, but it's the locals who can't get enough flavour.
Whether it's tourists or whether it's locals, it's great to know that they're supporting a product that is made right here on the Eyre Peninsula. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Now, usually we'd have a cricket wrap for you tonight. Need not worry though, we'll have a full wrap-up of sport for you tomorrow. Stay with us. After the break, I'll have all your local weather details. Welcome back. It was quite a warm day across the region today. Port Augusta hit 37 degrees, 36 for Whyalla, a little cooler there. Much cooler in Port Lincoln though, hitting just 31 there. Port Pirie also heading for 37 degrees. It was 35 in Adelaide. On the satellite, cloud in the state's west is producing some isolated showers close to the WA border. Skies are clear elsewhere under a broad high-pressure system. On the waters tomorrow, southerly winds shifting southeasterly between 10 and 15 knots, seas at a metre. Sunrise is at around 6:45. Looking at tomorrow, a very warm 39 degrees is on the cards for Port Augusta, slightly cooler around the Gulf in Whyalla, 35, a top of 30 in Port Lincoln, a lot cooler there, 38 degrees, a lot hotter in Broken Hill, sunny and 37 in Port Pirie, Kadina heading for 35 at the top of the Yorke Peninsula, in our capital Adelaide, a top of 34 degrees. Looking further ahead, the sunny skies and warmer weather is here to stay, although not as bad as previous weeks. Temperatures will hover in the mid-30s on the lower EP. Port Lincoln looking at 31 to end the working week. Warmer in Cleve and Woodner though, creeping up to 38 degrees and even into the 40s. Similar conditions further north, Whyalla heading for 41 on Thursday, 44 in Port Augusta, very hot there, slightly cooler on Yorke Peninsula, 38 on Wednesday for Kadina, 37 on Friday. And finally, in Port Pirie, 42 degrees the top on Thursday, very hot there, before dropping back ever so slightly to 39. Clare heading for a top of 36 on Friday. Cloud will increase above Broken Hill throughout the week, heading for a top of 41 degrees to end the week. Very hot there indeed. Before we go tonight, a look at our top stories. Doctors from the Kadina Medical Associates will continue to service the Wallaroo Hospital and follows staffing concerns at the facility after Moonta Medical withdrew its application. Whyalla is being touted as the perfect place to host part of a proposed virtual power plant. Local MP Eddie Hughes says our abundance of sunlight should count in our face and will push the town's case in Adelaide. And the state Liberals have proposed a $20 million plan to recruit and train health professionals in regional SA. The pledge comes after the Streaky Bay community was forced to purchase its medical practice after losing the town's only full-time doctor. And that's Southern Cross News this Monday. Thanks for your company. Just a reminder, if you've missed any of our bulletins, you can watch them again on our YouTube channel. Just look for Southern Cross News SA. Also, if you'd like to keep in touch with us, we're on Facebook and Twitter. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.